Ladies and gentlemen, after the age of 70, many people quietly accept weaker legs as a normal part of aging. They believe stiffness, instability, and fatigue are simply the price of growing older. I used to believe that too. Every step felt heavier. Climbing stairs became a task. Standing for long periods felt exhausting. I thought strength was something that belonged to my younger years. But I discovered something powerful. It wasn't just age that was weakening my legs. It was habits. When I stopped 4 specific things, everything began to change. My balance improved. My confidence returned. My legs felt alive again. The first thing I stopped was sitting for long, uninterrupted periods. After retirement, it became easy to spend hours in a chair, watching television, reading, scrolling on the phone. Sitting felt harmless. It felt comfortable. But comfort was quietly stealing my strength. Muscles that are not used begin to shrink. Circulation slows down. Joints stiffen. I realized my legs weren't weak because of age, they were weak because they weren't being challenged. So I began standing up every 30 to 45 minutes. I walked around the house. I stretched. I made small movements a daily rule. Within weeks, my legs felt less stiff. Movement became easier because I stopped surrendering to stillness. The second thing I stopped was avoiding resistance. For years, I thought lifting weights was only for younger people. I feared injury. I feared soreness. But I learned that after 70, resistance training is not dangerous when done correctly, it is necessary. Muscles respond to challenge at any age. I didn't start with heavy weights. I started with simple bodyweight exercises. Sitting and standing from a chair without using my hands, gentle wall squats, light resistance bands. The key was consistency. Strength returned not because I trained intensely, but because I trained regularly. When I stopped avoiding resistance, my legs stopped shrinking and started rebuilding. The third thing I stopped was neglecting protein and proper nutrition. I used to eat lightly, thinking smaller portions were always healthier. But I wasn't giving my muscles the building blocks they needed. As we age, our bodies require adequate protein to maintain muscle mass. I began paying attention to balanced meals, eggs, beans, yogurt, fish, lentils, simple, accessible sources of nourishment. Hydration also became a priority. Dehydrated muscles fatigue quickly. Once I fueled my body properly, I noticed better recovery and more energy in my legs. The fourth thing I stopped was believing the story that it's too late. That belief was the heaviest weight I carried. When you think decline is inevitable, you stop trying. When you stop trying, decline accelerates. I replaced that belief with a new one: progress is possible at any age. The human body is adaptable. It responds to care, effort, and patience. Strength may not return overnight, but it returns steadily when invited back with discipline. Here is what surprised me most: improving my legs improved my life. My balance became steadier. My fear of falling decreased. I walked with more confidence outside. I felt independent again. Stronger legs meant a stronger mindset. After 70, strength is not about chasing youth. It is about preserving independence. It is about being able to rise from a chair without struggle. It is about climbing stairs without gripping the railing in fear. It is about walking into a room with stability and dignity. If you are over 70 and feel your legs weakening, ask yourself what habits might be quietly contributing. Are you sitting too long? Avoiding resistance? Underrating protein? Telling yourself it's too late? Small changes create powerful outcomes. Stand more. Move more. Challenge your muscles gently but consistently. Eat to support strength. Most importantly, refuse to surrender to limiting beliefs. Your legs are not just muscles. They are your foundation. They carry you through life, and with the right habits, they can carry you strongly for many more years. It is never about age alone. It is about action. After the age of 70, the greatest threat to leg strength is not always disease, injury, or even time itself. It is prolonged sitting. What feels harmless and comfortable can quietly erode muscle, stiffen joints, and slow circulation. Many older adults sit for hours at a stretch, watching television, reading, using a phone, or simply resting. The body adapts quickly to stillness. Muscles that are not regularly activated begin to shrink in a process known as sarcopenia. The hips tighten, the knees lose flexibility, and the ankles stiffen. Over time, standing up becomes harder, balance becomes less stable, and walking feels heavier. Breaking the sitting cycle becomes one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your legs after 70. When you sit for long periods, the large muscles of the legs, the quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes remain inactive. These are the very muscles responsible for standing, climbing stairs, and preventing falls. Inactivity reduces blood flow, meaning oxygen and nutrients reach tissues less efficiently. This leads to fatigue and weakness. The joints also rely on movement to stay lubricated. Without motion, stiffness increases, and that stiffness discourages further movement, creating a downward spiral. The more you sit, the weaker you feel. The weaker you feel, the more you sit. Breaking this cycle does not require extreme exercise or long workouts. It begins with frequency, not intensity. Standing up every 30 to 45 minutes can make a measurable difference. Even 1 to 2 minutes of light movement restores circulation and reactivates muscles. Walking to the kitchen, stepping outside for fresh air, or gently marching in place can awaken dormant muscle fibers. These small interruptions prevent the body from settling into prolonged inactivity. One of the most effective movements is the simple sit to stand. Rising from a chair without using your hands strengthens the quadriceps and glutes, the key muscles that protect independence. Repeating this movement 5 to 10 times, several times a day, builds functional strength that directly translates to daily life. Another helpful practice is calf raises while holding onto a stable surface. This improves ankle strength and balance, reducing fall risk. Gentle stretching of the hips and hamstrings helps counteract the shortening effect of long sitting hours. The environment also plays a role. Arrange your living space to encourage movement. Place frequently used items slightly farther away, so you must stand to reach them. If you enjoy television, use commercial breaks as cues to stand and move. If you talk on the phone, do it while standing or walking slowly. Turning passive time into active time gradually reshapes habits without feeling overwhelming. Breaking the sitting cycle also improves posture. Long hours in a chair often lead to rounded shoulders and a forward head position. This shifts weight improperly and affects balance. When you stand and move regularly, your core muscles engage, your spine aligns more naturally, and your body regains structural support. Improved posture alone can make walking feel lighter and more stable. Energy levels also change when sitting is reduced. Many older adults report afternoon fatigue, often attributing it to age. In reality, inactivity contributes significantly to low energy. Movement stimulates circulation and signals the nervous system to remain alert. A brief walk or series of gentle exercises can refresh the mind and body more effectively than another hour in a chair. Consistency matters more than perfection. Missing a movement break is not failure. The goal is awareness. Once you recognize how often you sit and how it affects your legs, you gain control. Over days and weeks, muscles respond to repeated activation. They regain tone. Joints feel less stiff in the morning. Standing from a seated position becomes smoother. Balance improves subtly at first, then noticeably. Breaking the sitting cycle is not about rejecting rest. Rest is essential for recovery and overall health. The problem is not sitting itself, it is uninterrupted sitting. Alternating between rest and movement respects the body's design. Human beings are built to move throughout the day, even in small amounts. After 70, honoring this design becomes even more important because the body no longer maintains strength automatically. It responds directly to what you do consistently. The change may feel small at first, standing more often, walking a little more each day, but its impact compounds. Every time you choose to move instead of remain seated, you send a signal to your body that strength is still required. That signal protects muscle mass, joint health, and independence. Over time, these small decisions rebuild confidence along with physical ability. After 70, many people believe strength training is no longer meant for them. They imagine heavy weights, loud gyms, and the risk of injury. Because of that fear, they avoid resistance altogether. What they don't realize is that avoiding resistance is often the very reason their legs continue to weaken. Muscles are designed to respond to challenge. When they are not challenged, they gradually shrink. This natural decline accelerates with age, but it is not irreversible. The body maintains the ability to rebuild muscle tissue well into later decades of life when given the right stimulus. Embracing gentle strength training becomes one of the most powerful ways to restore leg strength, stability, and confidence. Strength training after 70 is not about lifting heavy loads. It is about applying safe, controlled resistance that tells the muscles they are still needed. Even body weight can serve as effective resistance. Simple movements such as sitting down and standing up from a chair, stepping onto a low platform, or performing supported squats can activate major leg muscles. These exercises directly target the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves, which are essential for walking, climbing stairs, and preventing falls. When practiced consistently, these movements rebuild strength in a way that supports everyday life. The key principle is progression. Muscles adapt gradually. Starting with manageable repetitions allows the body to adjust without strain. For example, performing 5 to 8 sit-to-stands with proper form may feel challenging at first. Within weeks, that same movement feels easier. At that point, increasing repetitions or adding light resistance bands introduces a new level of stimulus. This gradual progression keeps the muscles engaged and growing stronger without overwhelming the joints. Balance and coordination also improve with gentle strength work. As leg muscles strengthen, they provide better support to the knees and hips. Stronger hips stabilize walking patterns. Stronger calves improve ankle control. These small improvements significantly reduce fall risk, which is a major concern after 70. Strength training is not just about muscle size, it is about control. When muscles respond quickly and efficiently, stability increases. Another important aspect is joint health. Contrary to common fears, properly performed strength exercises can protect joints rather than damage them. Controlled movement increases blood flow around the joints, delivering nutrients that support cartilage health. It also strengthens the muscles surrounding joints, reducing excess stress. Weak muscles force joints to absorb more pressure. Strong muscles share the load and create better alignment. Confidence grows alongside physical strength. Many older adults limit their activity because they feel unsure of their stability. They avoid stairs, hesitate on uneven ground, and fear standing up too quickly. As strength gradually returns, those fears begin to fade. Tasks that once felt intimidating become manageable. Independence expands. The psychological impact of strength training can be just as powerful as the physical changes. Frequency matters more than intensity. 2 to 3 sessions per week of gentle resistance work can produce noticeable improvements. Rest days between sessions allow muscles to recover and rebuild. Proper breathing during exercises helps maintain stability and prevents unnecessary strain. Paying attention to form ensures that the correct muscles are engaged. If needed, using a sturdy chair or wall for support adds safety while building confidence. Nutrition and hydration support this process. Muscles require adequate protein to repair and grow stronger after resistance work. Drinking enough water prevents fatigue and muscle cramps. Recovery is part of strength building. Sleep also plays a vital role, as the body repairs tissues during rest. It is important to remember that discomfort and harm are not the same. Mild muscle soreness after trying a new movement can be normal and temporary. Sharp pain in joints is not. Listening to the body ensures training remains productive and safe. Adjustments can always be made to range of motion or resistance level. The human body remains adaptable even in later decades. Scientific research continues to show that muscle tissue can respond positively to resistance training well beyond 70. The pace may be slower than in youth, but progress remains possible. Each session sends a message that decline is not inevitable. Embracing gentle strength training is an act of reclaiming control. It transforms the narrative from passive aging to active preservation. Every repetition strengthens not just muscle fibers, but independence, mobility, and resilience. Over time, legs feel steadier, steps feel lighter, and daily life becomes less exhausting. Strength does not disappear with age. It simply waits to be challenged. After 70, the most limiting weakness is often not in the legs but in the mind. Many people quietly accept the belief that decline is unavoidable and improvement is unrealistic. They say, "At my age, this is normal," or "It's too late to change now." That belief becomes a silent instruction to the body to stop adapting. When you assume progress is impossible, you stop trying new habits, you avoid physical challenge, and you lower your expectations. Over time, the body follows the story you tell it. Rewriting the "too late" story is not about denying aging, it is about refusing to surrender to unnecessary decline. The human body remains adaptable far longer than most people realize. Muscles respond to resistance. Balance improves with practice. Circulation strengthens with movement. Even in later decades, the nervous system can form new connections when stimulated consistently. What changes with age is not the ability to improve, but the speed of improvement. Progress may come more gradually, but it still comes. When you believe growth is possible, you act differently. You move more often, you practice exercises. You nourish your body properly. The belief itself becomes the starting point of change. Negative expectations have measurable physical effects. When someone anticipates weakness, they often move cautiously and minimally. That reduced movement leads to real weakness. Fear of falling can cause smaller steps and stiff posture, which ironically increases instability. Doubt tightens the body. Confidence relaxes it. The mind and muscles are deeply connected. A hopeful outlook encourages fuller movement patterns, better posture, and greater willingness to stay active. Rewriting your internal narrative begins to shift physical behavior long before visible results appear. Language matters. Instead of saying, "I can't do what I used to," you can say, "I can build from where I am." Instead of thinking, "My legs are weak because I'm old," you can consider, "My legs will respond if I train them consistently." These small mental adjustments reduce resistance to action. They create space for effort. They turn aging from a fixed sentence into a dynamic process influenced by daily choices. Role models exist everywhere. Individuals in their 70s, 80s, and beyond who maintain remarkable mobility because they never stopped believing in progress. They may not move like they did at 40, but they move with purpose and strength. Their secret is rarely extraordinary genetics. It is consistency powered by mindset. They decided improvement was still worth pursuing. That decision shapes habits over months and years. Rewriting the story also involves forgiving the past. Perhaps you were inactive for years. Perhaps health challenges interrupted your routine. Regret can freeze progress. Dwelling on what was lost drains energy from what can still be gained. The body does not require a perfect history to respond positively. It responds to present effort. Starting small is not a sign of weakness, it is a strategic choice. A 5-minute walk can become 10. A few supported squats can become a structured routine. Momentum builds gradually. Community strengthens belief. Surrounding yourself with others who value active aging reinforces the idea that progress is possible. Conversations shift from complaints about decline to strategies for improvement. Encouragement replaces resignation. Social support increases adherence to exercise and healthy habits, which in turn produces tangible improvements in strength and balance. Patience becomes essential. The "too late" mindset often demands quick proof and gives up when results are not immediate. A growth mindset understands that rebuilding takes time. Small weekly gains accumulate into noticeable transformation over months. Celebrating minor improvements, standing up more easily, walking slightly farther, feeling steadier on stairs reinforces motivation. Ultimately, rewriting the "too late" story restores agency. Aging may change the body, but it does not eliminate influence. You still shape your outcomes through consistent behavior. Every time you choose movement over passivity, effort over resignation, and belief over doubt, you send a signal that strength is still relevant. That signal guides daily decisions. Those decisions shape physical capacity. Over time, the story of inevitable decline is replaced with one of steady resilience.